Okay. Thank you, Francois, and welcome. We have a packed schedule today. Lots and lots of speakers over the next 6 or 7 hours or so. And I'm going to be your master of ceremonies. I'm going to be up and down all day introducing speakers. I'm also going to be keeping track of all the questions coming our way. So I think those of you in the room, I'll shortly show you the QR code so that you can access the online system. Those of you who are online, oh, there it is. Those of you who are online, and I think there are more than 2,000 people have actually signed up who will be monitoring our show on a live stream. You will also be able to ask questions as well. My job, whilst other people are speaking, will be to monitor those questions and figure out which ones to ask our various speakers. I've got a short slot here where I actually have an opportunity to say something about London Business School's point of view on climate change and sustainability and all such things. And also, I think I want to do that in the context of business schools more generally. So in anticipation of the event, we sent out a little LinkedIn poll. You know these things. You can click on these things whilst you're going through your LinkedIn feed. We asked several questions. One was, how important is it for business schools to take an active role in tackling the climate emergency? 18% said it was not very important, 21% fairly important, 60%, the significant majority, said it was either very important or critical that business schools play an active role. Now, I appreciate that there's a self-selection bias in the people who answer these things, and indeed, everybody in the room, I suspect, believes we should be doing this stuff, but nonetheless, I take that as a positive sign. We asked the second question, which is essentially how effective business schools have been up to date in tackling the climate emergency. And I don't think you'll be particularly surprised to know that 31% said we've been ineffective so far, 52% limited effect, some small gains, and only 18% said business schools as a group have been highly effective. So no surprise, this is important stuff. We need to do it better, and we haven't done enough yet. So at London Business School, we are absolutely on the case. I can see several people in the audience here who are working very specifically on London Business School's sustainability agenda, sustainability strategy. And over the weeks ahead, we're going to be starting to talk much more widely about what we're doing in this area. Let me just offer you my kind of 3-minute introduction, if you like, to what I think we should be talking about at London Business School and what we should, to link to what Francois said, actually be doing about it. So our purpose statement is very clear. Our purpose at London Business School is to have a profound impact on the way that the world does business and the way that business impacts the world. In other words, we want to ensure that anybody coming through London Business School, our graduates from our degree programs and indeed our executives, are given a set of tools to help them to become more effective at dealing with the world, not as it is today, but as it is going to be in the years ahead. So in other words, we want to develop a point of view on the future of business. And it's very clear that that point of view includes a very clear understanding of the challenges we face around the climate emergency, but also very specifically around the kind of trade-offs that every business decision maker is having to make. We know that there is a tension between profits, people, and planet. Our job as business leaders is to figure out a way of managing those tensions. So we are already, I think, doing a decent job of providing our students with the knowledge that they need. But that's not enough. We also need to provide them with tools and an awareness and a mindset, if you like, to ensure that they feel that they actually have the ability and indeed the courage to do the right things as they move into whatever jobs they're doing next, whether it's working for a big bank or whether it's working as an entrepreneur or working for an NGO or whatever it is. And so a lot of what we're trying to put into our curriculum at London Business School isn't just about the thinking, but it's also about the doing. And so, for example, we run so-called global experiences, and some students in the room, some of you have been on these global experiences, where we allow people to go off in groups of 50 or 80 with faculty leading them to take global experience adventures is underplaying it, because it's an active role that you play in the countries where you go. We go to rural India, we go to the townships of South Africa, and we give our students real business problems to grapple with. And so what we're trying to do there is to essentially help them to structure messy problems, to grapple with the realities in places that they're not familiar with. So experiential learning, action learning, trying to shape our skills as agents of positive change. That, for me, is the agenda that we are trying to really kind of interrogate and become much better at pursuing through London Business School. So I'll wrap up my introductory comments with, I wrote a report, I co-authored a report for the British Academy on this precise topic, around what role business schools can play to enhance corporate purpose. And that work was spearheaded by a chap at Oxford, Professor Colin Mayer. And he has a definition of purpose, which I quite like. He says, the purpose of business is to solve the problems of people and planet profitably. In other words, he thinks that there's a necessity for capitalism to be respectful of profit-making, but that profit-making activity should be geared to solving the problems of people and planet. Those are the real problems and challenges that we face. That's his language, if you like, for reconciling these tensions, and I do like that. So our job as business schools, the purpose of business schools, is to essentially provide our students with the ability to solve those problems. That, for me, is what London Business School should be about. That is what I and many of my colleagues here in the room are already working on. So, without further ado, I'm just shortly going to introduce our first speaker of the day. 2 housekeeping points. First, as I said, use Slido to ask questions. Feel free to ask questions through Slido at all points, and I will field them as appropriate. The other point I'll make, for those of you who are in the room rather than online, we are going to be using photography and video throughout the day. So if anyone particularly does not want to be photographed, please let us know. Otherwise, we will indeed be wandering around taking images. So I am going to pause. I'm going to now introduce our first speaker of the day, my colleague and good friend, Professor Yanis Ioannou. Yanis, thanks.